Hello and welcome everyone, I'm Madals and today I've got game number 1 of a best of 3. It is a bit of Zerg versus Protoss, and it is between two Switch players from the Russian StarCraft 2 League. And on Belshir, spawning in the top left position, we've got the green Protoss player from Team Evil Geniuses, HuK. And his opponent, spawning in the bottom right, as the red Zerg, we've got YugiOh. So, which way is this series gonna go? Well, I really don't know. I honestly have no clue what's gonna happen. I don't even know how many games there are, because they've been really smart when they did the replay pack for this, and hid them all in folders, so it looks like there's all the games, even if there isn't, which I love, because it makes it more exciting as a caster. Anyway, at the moment, in terms of ZVP, HuK getting down that pylon in his main, so it could still be a Nexus first, although it's a lot more likely to be a Gateway expand. Really common build at the moment in ZVP. It's safe to do. You can get out that Mothership core a bit earlier, start banking up the energy, still secure your natural pretty quick, but also forces Zerg to apply, will be ready to defend a little bit of extra pressure. It also throws off the timing of a third base for a Zerg. They then got to get it around the 6:30 mark, and then of course you can follow it up with, say, a delayed 4-gate off of 2 bases with a Mothership core and come and attack that third. And it can be really awkward for a Zerg player to try and hold that off, since most will get Zergling speed from their first gas and then pull the gas income completely. So that's pretty cool. We noticed that YugiOh is actually just going for a little bit of a scout at the edge of his base there to make sure no pylons or anything like that are coming down, no sneaky shenanigans from HuK, who of course wouldn't be afraid to do something sneaky. HuK's a cool player like that, where he will go and win by whatever means are necessary. HuK here, getting down the 2 gas geysers. It's all pretty good, all pretty safe. The Overlord just making its way forward. To be honest, nothing too much to be worried about. YugiOh is really worried about like a proxy 2-gate or something, sending that drone over to make sure there's nothing here before taking his natural. So playing this very, very carefully in game 1 of this best of 3. So being game 1, you usually don't see people be quite this cautious. Usually they tend to feel a bit more safe, but YugiOh not taking any chances. HuK mining with 4 probes there, probably going to go up to 16 on the minerals, maybe 17, and then start the Mothership core. 17 if he wants to just not lose any saturation when he goes to go and take that natural base of his. But the Overlord coming in is going to see that, okay, no natural, probably going to be a Gateway expand, therefore I now need to take a gas fairly soon. That's what's going through YugiOh's head at the moment. He knows really how to deal with this. It's a very common build, as expected. There's the 17th probe, or, well, more than the 17th probe, the actual 21st probe on its way down there. So just going to go and take the Nexus. The Mothership core should get started now the Cybernetics core is done. Interestingly, HuK opting to get the Stalker out before starting that Mothership core. It's not something that's always done, but it is advisable if you've skipped the Zealot just to try and squeeze out a slightly better economy, because otherwise these Zerglings that are making their way across, even though there's only 4 of them, can be a little bit of a pain. They can pick off, say, a pylon for example, but with the Stalker out, with good control, that should be fine. Now HuK is going to start up his Mothership core there. The pylon at the natural, going to take a couple of shots, but of course the Zergling goes down. 3 Lings can't beat a Stalker, so retreat is underway from YugiOh, who interestingly hasn't yet taken a gas. This is actually starting to get quite a late period to try and take that first gas in order to get speed out, ready to defend, say, a 2-Stalker Mothership core, a bit of harassment, and the Mothership core, of course, is just popping out now, and I'm just interested to see what YugiOh is going to be doing here by skipping that gas. It means he can squeeze out some additional drones, and it also means that he can secure up a third a little bit faster, should he want to, but he's got to be careful of these Stalkers poking in, but probably not going to be too much aggression from HuK yet, because he's only going up, he's getting a sentry out. But having said that, 2 additional gateways being added on. Are we going to see a 4th one? Well, not yet. The 4th gate had gone down there, it would have been delayed 4-gate pressure, which can be a bit of a pain. This Stalker actually racking up quite the kill count already, and yeah, still no gas from YugiOh, which is definitely way later than you'd normally want it. So 3 gates plus the Stargate is on its way down here for HuK, so he's just probably going to be going into either Phoenix or Voidways. I imagine he'll go Phoenix just for the extra little bit of harassment, taking back the map control by picking off these Overlords that are here, there, and everywhere, and that'll just really help him get a nice little bit of a feel of map vision and really put YugiOh on the back foot in terms of knowledge of what's occurring. But HuK, he's also busy getting down that forge, so he's going to be starting the upgrade, so it's not like he's going full on Sky Toss. And YugiOh, delaying that first gas, is now going to take all 3 at the same time, but no third base yet. And this is generally around the 6-minute 30 mark when you'd expect to be seeing that. So unusual timings coming down from YugiOh at the moment, but his drone count That's nice and high. He's also going to get like a really solid gas income now because of the fact that he's taken all 3 gas at once. So he's going to be able to start up Lair pretty quick. May even opt to get Lair before Zergling speed. It's certainly a possibility and wouldn't actually be a bad choice here since that he's going to be going up against this Stargate play, which he doesn't know about yet. But yeah, there's the Lair coming down. It's all looking good. In terms of vision, this first Phoenix is about to reveal itself by killing an Overlord, which is probably the worst way you can get Phoenix revealed because then of course there's 100 minerals down the drain for YugiOh. It's also potentially going to supply block him. It shouldn't do because he will start up some more Overlords fairly soon, but actually now he is a little bit dangerous of getting very close to supply blocked here. He's going to go down to, well, 68 supply, and that means that he's only got enough for 2 more Lings or 2 more drones. So 2 Overlords started instantly, but more Overlords are scattered around. Are the Phoenix on a path where they're going to be able to see them? No, they're not. That one gets spared. The main base is going to be the target, though, now for HuK. He's going to come in with these 2 Phoenix, may try and kill off a couple of drones. Meanwhile, mass Zealot warping coming from the side, and of course, no Roach Warren is yet down for YugiOh. That means no roaches. He's going to struggle to do this. Emergency spine crawler getting placed. The queen getting lifted up as well. And of course, by lifting this queen, it might not do a huge ton of damage, but it does mean that it's now trapped outside in front of those evolution chambers. The Zealots only now have to deal with Zerglings one at a time. That is very advantageous. The Phoenix picking up the queen, reduce the amount of damage that can be coming down quite substantially. More warpins are still occurring, more Overlords getting taken out. YugiOh trying to go up to that infestation pit as quickly as possible, forcing out a couple more, well, quite a few more Zerglings actually. And while the queens do take out one of those Phoenix, YugiOh is definitely coming off worse at the moment because really HuK, he's only committed minerals to getting these Zerglings out. Yes, the Speedlings are coming here, but the Zealots should be able to deal with it fairly quick. And yeah, the Zealots now just doing a nice trade here. Mass recall gonna come down and get away safely. So HuK didn't really come off too badly there. He lost, well, 900 to 843, but the early Zealots really helping him force a lot of Zerglings out. And it looks like YugiOh going to be following this up with a Nidus network. Swarm hosts are also on their way down. Do you know what that means? This is going to be a Nidus in the main with Swarm hosts there. And of course, Swarm hosts in your main base are not very fun to deal with. The Overlord coming in saying, okay, does HuK have vision anywhere? And the answer is he doesn't. He hasn't put any pylons around here. If this Overlord moves down, grants vision of this area, a Nidus can go down without any trouble at all. But the first Overlord coming in, the Nidus not actually going to be coming down in the main base where it could have done, but instead just going to allow a siege up of the natural. With only Zealots here, defending against Locusts is going to be ridiculously hard. This is a 2-base play from YugiOh. No 3rd base has been taken at all so far, and that should be a warning sign to HuK, who does have a Phoenix up here, has seen the infestation pit, but is he aware of quite what is going to be coming down? Well, the Zerglings are baiting out all of these units. The Swarm host coming forward. A good number of Queens are there too. This is a very similar build to one TLO does. And now YugiOh, he's just going to start really applying the pressure. With the robotics facility only just about to finish up, that means no observer, so the Swarm host just cannot be attacked, which isn't going to be too helpful now for HuK. A couple of drones also coming out. Spore crawlers on their way, ready to pick off any observers that do try and come in. Stalkers from the back are going to try and deal with this, but of course, with a good number of Locusts, it's going to be fairly tough to do so. A gateway trying to get targeted. These Locusts don't have any upgrades it's worth adding, whereas HuK does have +1 ground weapons, but the Swarm host count slowly growing larger and larger. The Locusts just pushing in. Zerglings are also adding into the little bit of a fight here, and as these gateways start getting whittled down, the resupply of HuK is going to become a lot harder. He's desperately trying to get down his robotics bay, knows he needs some Colossus out ASAP. But for the moment, these Locusts just slowly picking away at stuff. HuK is going to start losing supply incredibly quickly because his first observer is still not even out on the field. And even when it comes out, there's a lot of spore crawlers here, granting detection, and we'll be able to start working that through. A couple of Stalkers getting taken out. This gateway will fall. A Photon overcharge being forced to be triggered. But the Locust just working down on the second gate too. That leaves HuK with only a single gate's worth of production. And of course, YugiOh taking his 3rd base behind this, streaming more Zerglings out, getting an ever higher Swarm host count. This is getting himself into a nice spot. 10 Swarm hosts pumps out a stupidly large number of Locusts, and that can deal so much damage. And HuK is just slowly feeling this Vice-like group come through, and he's actually going to get a whole stream of Speedlings coming into his main base, and there is very little here to defend. A mass recall being utilized just to try and get up there to defend, but that means the Zerglings going to come straight back down. The cannons starting to get taken out. The first Colossus desperate to try and get completed. The Zerglings just checking to see if anything else is coming in. Meanwhile, counterattack of Zealots are going to try and deal some damage, but the Spine Crawlers actually not doing half a bad job of defending against this. The Queens as well should be able to deal with just a couple of Zealots here, and therefore YugiOh going to be able to defend. He's got these Locusts ever getting closer. The Nexus now of HuK starting to take fire. And this many Locusts will deal such a huge amount of damage. More Zealots are on their way forward. Really, this is all HuK can do, is try and counterattack while he gets out a couple of Colossi. They don't have extended thermal lance though, which makes it even harder. The sentries slowly getting whittled down. That's very, very expensive. HuK now losing just shy of 3 times more resources than that of YugiOh, who is still applying the pain, still has the swarm host up, and is about to take out the natural nexus of HuK. And there it goes, it is down, and HuK now looking in a very bad position on 1 base compared to the 3 of YugiOh. Yes, this evolution chamber is taking some damage, but yeah, there's swarm hosts here, there's spine crawlers here, and his own natural is getting annihilated. The Colossus, the second Colossus, about to pop out, but 2 Colossi against 10 plus swarm hosts, 16 actually now as the count is going to be very, very difficult for HuK to try and defend, especially when they're trapped in this corner slightly. They need to try and get their way through up onto the high ground there, but the Locusts have destroyed the natural base. HuK's economy is in tatters, and his robotics facility as well is in a vulnerable spot. And while he may be able to hold this main base for a while, what's he going to do there when YugiOh starts getting out these Corruptors? He's already got a few on the field. He's going to start whittling down the Colossus count. And once they go, the Locusts have free reign. HuK is not looking to be in a very good spot at the moment. He has lost so much more than his opponent, nearly 4 times more now. And these Locusts are just going to keep streaming on forward. The Mothership Core also in a bit of a dangerous spot. The Spore Cooler, Guaning Vision of the Overseer, that is now the Observer. So the Observer, now only 1 remains and able to grant vision of those swarm hosts. But yeah, HuK can't even get down there, because the second he tries to move out, he's going to be moving out into the Locust. The Corruptors coming forward, going to try and pick off those Colossi as quickly as they can. 1 is about full. Corruption is being used. YugiOh playing like a beast, not picking off the Mothership Core yet, which, again, he could have done quite easily. It would have been 1 volley, but HuK knows he cannot come back from this, and GG's out. Game 1 goes to YugiOh, and if you enjoyed that, make sure you press the like button, press the subscribe button, and then flick over to my channel, and I'll see you at game number 2 in just a second.